Support for SportsPage is provided by the University Store at the Crossing. The University Store at the Crossing is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of the University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page, we'll take a look at Jenny's volleyball and how they continue to dominate.
We'll catch up with reporter Asia Garrison as she covered Family Weekend at the Mules football game at Walton Stadium.
We'll also take some time to get to know the new offensive coordinator for the Mules football team. We'll have all that and more on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Kira Mackey.
I'm Daniel Barnett.
And I'm Jason Katz. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start tonight's broadcast with an update from Jenny's volleyball.
The Jennies had a busy weekend as they took on and defeated Fort Hays State and Nebraska Kearney. Senior Annie Riley and Carly Soika and junior Courtney Thompson all reached huge milestones over the weekend. UCM came out with great momentum in the first set on its way to a 3-0 win over Fort Hays State. The Jennies took a large lead again, this time scoring 7 out of the first 10 points in the set. Fort Hays got within 2, but Soika started a 9-2 run with this kill that widened the gap. Included in that run was Riley's 200th career ace. The Tigers got 2 straight attack airs, finished the set, and gave the Jennies the win. The Jennies kept the momentum in the third set, again getting ahead early, 13-4. Fort Hays got no closer than 7 points as the Jennies took a 25-11 set win. Riley tallied 18 digs and 3 service aces. She is now second in Jennies history in service aces.
I knew before the season that I had to get a few aces in order to get that, and it was kind of one of my goals, and now that I've achieved it, I just want to keep going.
Maddie Jones was the top offensive weapon for UCM. Jones had a career-high 16 kills on 24 attempts with no errors. Soika picked up her 7th double-double of the season. Courtney Thompson directed the offensive attack. Saturday, the Jennies had a battle with the number 16 ranked Nebraska Kearney Lopers. UCM took their first lead of the set at 8-7 on Cheyenne Lyons' first kill of the match. The set went back and forth with 14 ties and 4 lead changes. After UCM went up 23-21, UNK scored the next 2 points. A bad set gave the Jennies their lead back to 24-23. Kylie Holland ended the set with her only kill of the frame. In set number 2, the Jennies were up with a 20-19 lead, but that is as close as it got. 2 kills and an ace from Soika sparked the Jennies to a 25-20 win and a 2-0 lead in the match. Neither team was giving an inch in a third set that saw 18 ties and 4 lead changes. The Jennies fell short with the Lopers, scoring 29 points. In the fourth set, UCM jumped out to a 7-3 lead. Included in that run were back-to-back blocks with Casey Holland in on all 3. But the Jennies never lost the lead as they closed the match with a 25-21 win. Soika and Thompson had career nights for UCM. Soika set a new high with 31 kills. Thompson bettered her career mark with 62 assists while leading a balanced attack.
Carly was just hitting everything. She didn't even pretend like there wasn't even a block there. She was just creaming them, and I mean Casey and Maddie were doing well, and I was just feeding whoever was on, and we couldn't read their hitters, their blockers really well, and so we were trying to set away from them as much, but whenever Carly's hitting 30-plus kills, you might as well just keep feeding the beast.
Thompson became the first Jenny with more than 60 assists since assistant coach Caitlin Pankratz in 2008. Of course, the main beneficiary Thompson's effort was Soika.
Everyone knows what their job is, but I knew what my job was, and when I have the opportunity to put it away, I need to put it away. So I think I just played normal.
Tuesday, the Jennies traveled to St. Charles, Missouri to take on Lindenwood. The Jennies cruised to a 3-0 win over the Lions. Soika and Jones led the UCM offensive attack as the Jennies improved to 16-2 and 4-1 in the MIAA. The Jennies returned to the Multi Friday at 7 p.m. to host Missouri Western. They then traveled to Maryville Saturday for a 6 p.m. matchup against Northwest Missouri State.
The #1 ranked Jennies soccer team got off to a strong start this weekend. The Jennies beat Nebraska Kearney 3-0 in their first MIAA road game of the season. Megan Woolley got the Jennies on the board in the 14th minute when she found the back of the net off a pass from Jada Scott. Kayla Hamner extended the Jennies' lead to 2-0 when she scored in the 66th minute. And Julie Ireland scored in the 71st minute to give the Jennies a 3-0 lead. Ireland's goal set the MIAA record for most consecutive games with a goal at 8. But the weekend took an uncharted turn. The Jennies suffered their first loss of the 2015 season on Sunday. Jennies lost at Fort Hays State 2-1. Fort Hays State scored the first goal of the game in the 48th minute. The Jennies answered in the 70th minute when Woolley found the back of the net off an assist from defender Abby Rhodes. But the Tigers would reclaim the lead on a goal in the 72nd minute. The loss snapped a 34-game regular season undefeated streak that stretched all the way back to October 15th, 2013. The loss drops UCM to 9-1 overall and 3-1 in MIAA play. Jennies played at Missouri Southern tonight at 7 p.m. You can get the final results at UCMathletics.com. Jennies travel to Bolivar, Missouri Saturday for a noon matchup against Southwest Baptist. Jennies golf team shot a final round .315 at the UCO RCB Bank Classic at Lincoln Park East Golf Course on Tuesday. Jennies finished 50 over par, shooting a .635 and finishing in 11th place. Taylin Entrikin and Kelly Welker both finished 16 over par and shot .158 to tie for 50th place.
The Jennies golf team will take this week off, but Jennies bowling opens its 2015-2016 campaign Saturday and Sunday, October 10th and 11th at the Newman Mid-States Invitational in Wichita, Kansas.
Coming up after break, we'll update you on the latest. Sorry. Okay, can we redo that? Sorry.
What happened?
Prompter kind of got a little up. I couldn't catch it. All right. It's all right.
Yeah, start coming up.
Yep.
He's good. 4, 3.
Coming up after the break, we'll update you on the latest on our Mules sports, so don't go away. Lots more action to talk about. You're watching the UCM Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and the UCM Media Network.
I choose red to blaze my own trail.
I choose red to be with students and faculty who make me feel at home.
I wanted a university with a big picture perspective. That's why I chose red.
Why do you choose red?
Choose red.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri. Choose red. Can I do that? Is that allowed?
Welcome back to Sports Page. Before the break, we saw what the Jennies were up to this past week. Now let's take a look at our Mules. Jason, tell us about football.
The 25th ranked Mules football team was looking to improve their record to 3-2 this past Saturday at home against Missouri Southern for Family Weekend. The Mules were looking to improve to 2-1 at home. The Mules defense forces a quick 3-and-out. The ensuing punt is blocked by Clayton Cooper, and the offense would take over from there. Garrett Fugate goes back to pass and finds Alex Strong for a 52-yard bomb, which sets up this 2-yard run by Jordan Keeney to give the Mules an early 7-0 lead. UCM's offense goes back to the air as Fugate finds Jalen Zachary for the 57-yard touchdown pass, 14-0 Central. After a 3-yard touchdown run by Rodney Smith, this Billy Greco 30-yard field goal gives the Mules a 24-point lead still in the second quarter. After Fugate threw an interception, Lions quarterback Kyle Keller's pass is picked off by Montez Lattimore, who returns it to Southern's 27-yard line. 2 plays later, Fugate looking, scrambles to his right, finds Josh Pickrow with the floater in between 2 Lions defenders. Mules with a 31-0 lead at the break. The Mules got the ball to start the second half as Markel Smith finishes off an 8-play 75-yard drive with a score. The Mules' next drive, well, same old as Fugate with the quarterback option, keeps it himself and leaps over a Lions defender, 45-0 UCM. Mules backup quarterback Aaron Siebenschue says, anything Fugate can do, I can do better. It's now 52-0 UCM. The Lions were able to get on the board of the field goal, but the Mules' Anthony Saputo is credited with the safety. Mo is excited as the final score from Walton Stadium Kennedy Field, Mules 54, Lions 10. In just his fifth collegiate start, Garrett Fugate finishes the day with 448 yards of total offense. Fugate's effort is the fourth highest single-game total in school history. He was 21 of 29 for 343 yards and 2 passing touchdowns while adding 105 yards on the ground with a rushing touchdown. The entire offense finished the day with a school record 705 yards, 370 through the air, and 335 on the ground. Mules will look to continue their winning ways as they travel to Topeka, Kansas to face the 3-2 Washburn Ichabods Saturday in the MIAA-TV Game of the Week. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m.
What a great way to win by the Mules. And what made it even better is that it happened on family weekend. Asia Garrison and John Gerhards went to the game to visit with some of the fans as SportsPage hits the streets.
Hi, it's Asia Garrison. I'm here at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field. UCM SPORTSPAGE hits the streets. It's family weekend. Stay tuned to see what the families have to say. What do you want to see from the Mules?
Domination.
What type of Mule fans are you?
Rowdy!
I'm a huge Mule fan.
A huge Mule fan?
Yeah, a huge Mule fan.
Play football? What number is your brother?
59.
I am here to see my daughter Lauren, and she's a senior, and my son Dylan is a freshman.
So I'm here with President Ambrose. So how are you feeling about Family Weekend?
Asia, you know, family is UCM, you know, so we're a place where multiple generations come to school, and so this is a really special day for UCM.
Once again, I'm Asia Garrison, and you've been tuned in to UCM SportsPage Hit the Streets. We hope you've enjoyed our family weekend, and we'll see you soon.
It's great to see all those families having such a good time.
After celebrating Family Weekend, the Mules golf team headed to Burnsville, Minnesota for the Northern Sun Fall Championship. There, the Mules shot a final round 299 and finished at 23 over par and in third place at the Jewel Golf Club. Alex Springer followed up his opening round 69 with an even 71 on Tuesday to finish at 2 under par and the tournament's individual champion. The title gives Springer 2 top 5 finishes on the season. Teddy Jones shot rounds of 72 and 75 to finish at 5 over par and in a tie for 8th place. Mules will be back in action on October 12th and 13th at the Missouri Western Regional Invite. The tournament will be played at the St. Joseph Country Club in St. Joseph, Missouri. After a 2-week hiatus, the Mules and Jenny's cross-country squads will also be in action this weekend. They travel to Fayette, Missouri Saturday for the Central Methodist Gary Stoner Invitational.
Now that we've recapped all the Mules and Jenny's action from last week, let's take a look at the MIAA standings. Jenny's soccer lost their first game this past Sunday, making their record 9-1. Jenny's are currently second in the MIAA. Central Oklahoma leads the league. Jenny's volleyball has been continuing its domination. The Jennies are currently tied with Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri for the third in the MIAA standings. After coming off its impressive win, Mules football is tied with Missouri Western for 5th in the standings.
That's all for the MIAA standings this week. When we return, we'll have our news and notes, and we'll get a chance to get to know Mules football and the new offensive coordinator. Don't go away. You're watching the UCM Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and the UCM Media Network.
Spending time with my boys is precious. I love being a dad. It's what I cherish above all other things, especially now. I was deployed to Iraq and served there for just over 12 months. I am certainly proud, but more grateful for that opportunity. When I was in Iraq, I was amazed that I could access PBS online. The coverage that the NewsHour provided gave an accurate portrayal of the events as I understood them unfolding. I thought it was an outstanding resource. It was a great way for me to stay connected to my country, but also where it really mattered, which was home. Having that tangible connection was really meaningful for me. PBS is something that I trust, and what they reflect to me is what's best about my country.
A lot happening as usual this week in UCM athletics. Jason, why don't you tell us about news polls, conference awards, and student athletes in the community?
The Jennies basketball team announced its 2015-2016 schedule last Friday afternoon. 13 home games and a trip to Las Vegas highlight this year's schedule. The Jennies open at home with an exhibition contest against Missouri Valley on November 3rd. UCM will take its act on the road to the City of Lights, Las Vegas, for a 2-game swing against Northwest Nazarene on November 13th and Minnesota State Moorhead on November 15th. The Jennies' official home opener is November 18th against William Jewell. UCM volleyball moved up 2 spots in this week's national coaches poll to number 11. The Jennies went 2-0 last week with wins over Fort Hays State and number 18 Nebraska Kearney. The Jennies' perfect week was thanks in part to a pair of MIAA Athletes of the Week recipients. Carly Soika had 45 kills and 30 digs, recording a double-double in both matches to claim her 3rd MIAA Hitter Award of the season. She set a new career high with 31 kills in a win over the Lopers. She was the first Jenny with 30 or more kills since 1999. Soika was also named the DAVCA National Player of the Week for her performance. Courtney Thompson was also part of the offense onslaught as she was awarded with the MIAA Specialist of the Week honors. She was responsible for 94 assists, including a career-high 62 against Nebraska Kearney. For the 2nd time this season, UCM Volleyball has swept the MIAA Weekly Awards. Coming off its first loss of the season, Jenny Soccer dropped 8 spots from number 1 to number 9 in the latest National Soccer Coaches Poll. The Jennies bowling team is ranked number 8 in the National 10-Pin Coaches Association preseason poll. The Jennies finished the 2014-2015 season ranked 8th. Alex Springer was named MIAA Men's Golfer of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. Springer won the Fall Invitation with a 2-under par in leading the Mules to a 3rd place team finish. And finally, Central Missouri junior quarterback Garrett Fugate was named the MIAA Offensive Player of the Week following his performance in the Mules' 54-10 win over Missouri Southern last Saturday. Fugate completed 72% of his passes for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 105 yards and a score. His 448 yards of total offense are the 4th highest single-game total in school history and are the most for any outside of former Harlan Hill Award winner Eric Cernansky. To read more about these stories and more, you can log on to UCMathletics.com.
One person who has helped Fugate find success is new Mules offensive coordinator John McMenamin. Coach McMenamin comes to UCM after spending his previous 4 seasons as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Wayne State. Tristan McClellan met up with Coach McMenamin to give us all a little more insight on the man calling plays for the Mules.
Gearing up for a huge season as the new offensive coordinator, I got the chance to sit and talk with Coach McMenamin as we discussed the offense and some of his coaching philosophies.
Offensive philosophy is to put pressure on the defense. I think it's to be as multiple as you can. We do a lot. We run a lot of formations. It probably looks like we run a ton of different plays. We probably don't run. We run a lot, but not a ton. But I think we really do a good job of stressing the defense. So to be multiple and just get the ball, you know, to as many people as you can, spreading it around, I think it's one thing we're doing a pretty good job of right now. Is I don't think you can really focus on one guy in our offense. Right now there's a lot of guys that are making catches and a lot of guys running the ball and a lot of different actions we're giving them. So
Coach McMenamin spent the last 4 years as the offensive coordinator at Wayne State University in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now a Mule, I asked Coach McMenamin why he chose red.
What drew me to the University of Central Missouri would be Coach Sabota. I played for Coach back at Northwest Missouri State, and I think he did a tremendous job there. So when the opportunity arose and he gave me a call, it was a no-brainer for me. The second thing was the university itself. I've always kind of admired it from afar. I thought it was kind of a gold mine. Its location, the commitment to athletics that the university does. They put their best foot forward. I mean, if you look at our facilities, they're outstanding, and they give you a lot of resources.
The Mules started their season 3-2 and recently just broke the school record for total offense with 705 yards. Coach McMenamin expressed how pleased he was with the offense at this point in the season.
There's a lot of potential for this offense. I think it's a young group, and there's a lot of guys playing. We play 6 receivers. We've played 4 different running backs. We played 2 different tight ends. So there's a lot of guys getting experience. The only group that's probably stayed the same has been the O-line, and they're doing a great job.
With high expectations still lingering of the season, the Mules gear up for an exciting matchup against Washburn Saturday at 2:30 p.m. This is Tristan McClellan reporting for SportsPage.
Thanks, Tristan. When we return from break, we'll have our fan favorite question of the week segment. So don't go away. You're watching the UCM Sports Page on KMOS-TV and the UCM Media Network.
I grew up in Harlem during the Depression, but I was extremely fortunate to have an opportunity to go to college, tuition free. When I retired, I thought if I can even help one person go to college, I'll have done something really great. So I support one student with a scholarship. I see the values of PBS in sync with my values. And just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education, I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. That's why I've included my PBS station in my estate planning.
Call 1-800-753-3436.
I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're giving back.
Welcome back to Sports Page. It is now time for our questions of the week. Our first question is brought to us by one of our viewers, Benjamin Eaton. He asked us to discuss this question. Central Missouri sports have been trending upward in the past 3 years. For example, Jenny's soccer reaching the #1 ranking, national championships in Mules basketball and Jenny's track and field. And what is it that has brought all this recent success?
Well, I think it's got to start from the absolute top. And when you think of the absolute top with Central Missouri Athletics, you got to think of Athletic Director Jerry Hughes and also Associate Athletic Director and Kathy Anderson, and just the amount of great coaches that they've been able to acquire over the years. You got to think some of these people have been here for what seems like an eternity. Flip Piontek is entering his 30th season with UCM Volleyball, another program that has been in the national rankings for a very long time. You got to think of also with the recent success with soccer, this is Louis Theobald's 9th season as head coach, and so he's been able to get a program built up and been able to really get that that national recognition that they need with that #1 spot. You also talked about with the Jenny's track and field team. Last year they're coming off of not only an indoor national championship, but also an outdoor, and the amount of kids that Kip Jarvin and his staff have been able to recruit has been absolutely phenomenal. So, I mean, when you look around this campus, there is so much competition between all of the teams that everybody raises their level. And especially, the other national championship team was with Kim Anderson when he was here as the Mules head basketball coach. He's now since moved to the University of Missouri, and now it's the new regime with their new head coach. But anyway, it's just the amount of competition and the amount of success that all of our programs have had across have been able to really shine in these past few seasons.
And you know what, I think when you have players who are older, the younger girls look up to those players and they want to play to the higher caliber of what their team brings to the table and show what they can really do through other conference schools. So I think it's the older players too that help them reach those successes.
Absolutely.
Last week, Julie Ireland set the new MIAA record for consecutive matches with a goal. What does an accomplishment like this mean to Jenny soccer?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. For this team, you know, again, they were the #1 ranked team in the nation, coming off of a disappointing loss and from what they had this past week with Fort Hays. But it's big for those, again, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, about those older players on each of these teams, especially with this Jenny soccer team. Even though they are so talented, they are still incredibly young. For Julie Ireland, who again, a first-team All-American nod last season, she had 12 goals and 31 points, which means not only is she able to score as a attack player, but she's also able to dish out the ball. She's able to get a lot of assists to her other players on the team and be able to contribute more offensively, not only as a goal scorer, but also as an assist person as well.
And someone like that, having someone like that on a team is also good for recruitment. So younger girls who are looking into UCM, I think when they see things like that, they want to accomplish those goals as well and learn from those actions. Our last and final question is cross country is heading into the final tune-up before the MIAA championships. What are we looking for from the Mules and Jenny's cross country teams?
Well, now it's all about it's the final leg of their season. You know, for both the for the Jennies and the Mules cross-country teams, it's go time now. You know, they've trained all summer, they've trained all this entire season so far. It's time to go. For a lot of these people, they need to be able to set new PRs. They need to be able to stay in packs, finish at the top of their in their races, and be able to go on to nationals.
Well, good luck to Jenny's and Mules cross-country. That's all the questions we have for this week. If you'd like to discuss in our closing segment, please share it with us. You can email questions to our faculty advisor, Dr. Joe Moore, at jhmoore@ucmo.edu.
We have to take one final break, but stay tuned. You're watching UCM Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and the UCM Media Network.
I choose red for unlimited possibilities.
I choose red because my family is less than an hour away, but I still get to be independent.
I get to apply my classroom experience to my everyday life. That's why I chose red.
Okay, that works. What did you say?
Why do you choose red?
Choose red.
Choose red.
Choose the University of Central Missouri.
Choose red.
Thanks for tuning in this week. We appreciate all of you watching at home. Remember, you can watch us each Thursday night at 9:30 on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. You can also catch a replay of Sports Page at 7 p.m. on Fridays and noon on Saturdays on UCM-TV. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm Daniel Barnett.
I'm Kira Mackey.
And I'm Jason Katz. Thank you for inviting us into your homes. You've been watching Sports Page on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, and the UCM Media Network. We'll see you next week.
Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store at the Crossing. The University Store at the Crossing is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of the University of Central Missouri Athletics.